Welcome to the I Fell Into This podcast for recruiters who, like me, fell into recruitment.
Today we're joined by the extremely talented Matt Saunders and Elivia Atkinson, and they're from Hnosi Space Solutions, and we'll be discussing, amongst other things, the first 90 days of launching.
So great to see you guys. Thanks for coming along.
No worries.
And I guess we'll start with how you both fell into recruitment.
So I fell into it. Basically, I was working in sales for Direct Line, and basically one of my friends who was there went into work for a recruitment agency, saw what he was achieving and earning, which was a massive plus, and basically decided I wanted to be involved in that. So I joined large corporate, had no training or background experience, and absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's how I kind of fell into the world of recruitment, really.
Nice.
Familiar story, isn't it, really? I think we hear that from so many people. Was it similar for you, Olivia?
Yeah, it was fairly similar in that I'd helped a few people with their university applications and did a bit of sort of coaching with them. And then I decided I wanted to ingress luxury fashion, and there's not much online about how to do that, and the process is quite long and you've got to do a lot of research, and I managed to do that, but then within fashion there's no money, you don't get paid very well, so I thought life shouldn't be this difficult, I need a professional job that pays well.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, so tell us about the business, about Hnosi then.
So Hnosi, we're a space and defence recruitment company. We kind of pride ourselves on being a services and solutions business, so kind of just going beyond that recruitment element, even though obviously that's our sort of background, but it's more about providing a service, being that partner, being collaborative, and doing more than just that transactional service to clients. Like, how can we support them in other areas of the business? What else can we do for them? And just being that extension really to their HR and TA teams. But focusing mostly space, and then we've got the defence arm on top of that as well.
Mm-hmm. And it operates internationally as well?
Yeah, we operate internationally. So we kind of mainly, obviously, we've got the UK, Europe. We obviously do some work over in the States, but our kind of goal is to really go into the Asia Pacific market, especially where the space market over there is kind of really new.
Yeah.
A lot of innovation going on there, a lot of new companies popping up. So that's kind of the goal, really.
Nice. Sounds good. And
Thanks for that, Matt. So if we take you back a bit, I mean, when you were thinking about launching, what was sort of going through, what are the processes that you went through for launching the business, and what finally made you do it, I suppose?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to have my own business, but with me, I'm very like a practical person, so everything has to fall in line to actually make it the right decision. So I'd been kind of thinking about it for a couple of years, but the timing had never really been right. I wanted to kind of learn a bit more, and obviously having the experience at Kinetic and being part of the in-house function kind of was like the last bit sort of skill set I was missing. So after I kind of went into that, and then transitioned back into the organisation I was working in, and started to get back into that new business market again, it just kind of everything just aligned. It was more like, why am I doing it for these guys when I can actually go out and do it myself?
Yeah.
And then everything just clicked, and then it was just then wanting to find a partner to go on the journey with, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, because on that then, did you have, obviously, you say things aligned for you, but were there any concerns? Was there anything that like really kept you up at night?
So yeah, obviously it's the unknown of leaving a secure job and then going out and the security not being there. And obviously whatever you need to obviously put a lot more work in. You've got to drive it. It's you that's putting it all together. So probably that element of when I kind of left and then set the business up, and it was the first day, it kind of hit me And I was like, okay, what have I done?
What sort of timescales are we looking at here? From when you sort of thought, yeah, I would quite like to do this, to actually, yes, I'm 100% serious that I'm going to do this. What sort of timescales are we looking at there?
For me, it was quite quick, because I kind of got to that point. I was like, yeah, I'm ready now. This is my time. And if I don't do it, I won't do it at all. So it was like all in. Let's make it happen. So probably within a couple of months of kind of going back into the business that I was in, getting back into that sales element, because I'd been out of it for quite some time, but I missed it. So that's why I kind of went back into it again. And then once I got that taste for it again and kind of realised, yeah, you haven't lost it, you can still do it.
Yeah.
It was a very easy decision for me. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly how I wanted my career path to go.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good. And obviously when you did launch, it was quite a quick start for you then.
Yes.
Talk us through that, how like that came about in terms of the sort of first 90 days from launch to that.
Yeah, so I was quite thankful really that we were able that, because obviously with the covenants and things like that, I was on very short covenants, purely because I was in a very different realm within the company. So the covenants wasn't very long, but there was a lot of companies out there. I happened to have a connection at a cluster, space cluster. One of my friends, he introduced me to a client that was really struggling, really needing some support. So within obviously starting, I'd already had a ready-made client. They wanted an RPO solution. It's something I'd done before. I knew how to set it up. So instantly, it was a launch date, client on board, money coming in to the company from day one. So the first 90 days had just been kind of really servicing them. There was a lot of positions to work. It was very busy with me being on my own. But I just kind of slotted straight in and kind of found it quite easy to kind of manage the workload. They were very easy to deal with as a company, which made it so much easier. The handcuffs are off, so they literally let me do whatever I needed to do to make it happen. Help them out on the processes side, so we kind of smoothed that side because their process was quite long. But yeah, the first night it was just filling as many jobs as I can to get the company profitable as soon as possible.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it was a very like you said, in terms of having that revenue from day one, it's huge for the business, huge for the cash flow, and obviously great success. But with that, then what were the main challenges for you at that point as well?
So the main challenges is I had in excess of like over 25 jobs on my desk.
That's a nice challenge, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good problem to have, right?
It is, but it was just kind of managing their expectations and making sure that I also manage my expectations and also manage the day-to-day. Because sometimes you can get carried away and you can end up working like 12, 14 hours. And obviously having a young family and everything, I just had to make sure that I got the balance right. And that's kind of, and making sure that their expectations are met, that, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Set obviously those expectations then from day one. And we were able to kind of clear down the positions. I've always worked on this scale of 6, which is what I've learned from previous companies.
Okay.
Where you have 6 roles on at a time.
Yep.
And every time you fill one, you top it up, and you top it up, and you top it up. So you're always working on this recurrent wheel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just what I did, really. Pick the 6 roles that were urgent, that we needed to fill very quickly. And then as we started to tick them off, just add another one on, add another one on, add another one on.
Yeah.
So we kind of managed it really well. And yeah, just kind of meeting their expectations, really. They were a challenging client from the beginning. I think it was just the culture.
Right.
Just trying to make them understand that you're in the UK now, this is how we do things. And eventually they started to warm up and we started to get a good handle of each other and understand each other. a lot better. But yeah, the first probably month was quite hectic and quite challenging to get that balance out. But then as soon as we did and we kind of broke those barriers down, the next sort of 60 days kind of worked out quite well.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. And then, so with that obviously busy start and everything, you obviously always had plans to scale and grow. I guess those plans had to come forwards because of the workload. So how did that evolve to then Livia joining the business?
Yeah, so it got to a point where obviously I was given a certain amount of positions, but then these positions also being topped up with other positions. So we kind of, it was getting to a point where I was getting quite stretched. So I always had a plan of when I'll be bringing in people, when I did the initial business plan. But obviously we had to kind of excel that process and kind of move a lot faster to meet the demand. So I always had an idea in mind of who I wanted to bring into the team, and had a list of people that I wanted to kind of go after because I'd worked with them before. I knew their capability, I could trust them, and we had a good working relationship. So obviously had been in conversations with Elivia, and yeah, she kindly came on to be the first hire. So
brilliant. So Olivia, you were hire number one. What was that like coming on board when quite an early business, I suppose, not been around for long? What's your background? How did you fall into recruitment, and what's it been like since you've been at Hnosi?
Yeah, it was a pretty unique situation. I felt pretty privileged to be the first hire in, I guess, a startup sort of environment, supporting really interesting capability, which is kind of my background and where Matt comes from. And I think we both have a really good professional trust with each other, having worked on Kinetic before. And that really taught me a lot about deep SME, like working in niche areas. And then I had an opportunity in my career to develop my sort of talent acquisition partnership skills, working just with one client. And I was at a point in my career where I actually just was taking an evaluation of where I was at and thinking, okay, where can I make a big impact here? I'm quite purpose aligned. I like to help people, and that was how I got into recruitment in the first place. So I always try to lead with that. But I think working in this position is definitely one of privilege, to work so intimately with a client and really focus on that sort of partnership and collaboration piece. And like Matt says, just being a true extension of their team and knowing their faces, and sorting out all of the demand planning and working with them in a much more sort of intimate capacity where you understand the end to end, and you're much more involved than just normal recruitment, which I think really probably suits us both. But yeah, it's been brilliant. It's been a really interesting experience, even just with things like operating with different clients and sort of the hybrid piece as well, and how to structure yourself and bring yourself on. I think it's a really good opportunity to do that, but you have to be quite honest with yourself about your downfalls as well.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it's great that you're, like you said, what a great opportunity, right, to be the first hire in a startup. But did you have any reservations? Was that because it can be
careful what you say here.
Yeah, the boss is right there.
Sat next to the boss,
but I'm sure you guys maybe had a conversation about this, because it's quite a risk joining a startup as well. So how did that conversation go between the two of you? Was it something you discussed in terms of the potential risk element or concerns about that at all?
Well, I think Matt's always open with me, and likewise, and we do have a good trust between each other, and we've worked together before, so that did alleviate a lot of any concerns that I may have had going into this blind, essentially. But I definitely was in a position where I just wiped the slate clean, and I just said to myself, how are you going to develop yourself, bring yourself on? And Matt's always kind of been a mentor to me, and I just recognised that he would give me the confidence to do that. So yeah, we did have a conversation about the environment and some of the challenges that he's found, and he was really honest with me about that. But I think I just knew it was the right thing, and I knew it would help to grow me professionally. So we just talk any concerns that we have through in an open way, really, don't we?
Yeah. And how does that work? I mean, you work remote from each other. How does that relationship work like that? Do you meet up very often?
Yeah, I think we have good touch points, not just within our own team. So we've got like virtual meets and things. Obviously, we go and attend the client site. We have sort of hot desking things that we do. If there's a particular event or things going on, we make sure that we make the most out of that time. And I quite like the not spontaneous nature of things, but how just one day, you know, it's never going to look the same, and you get to get involved in so many different things.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and I think also we obviously talked around the corporate element as well, because Olivia's only known corporate business.
Yeah.
Whereas I've worked in corporate and I've worked in a small company settings before, so I'm quite used to it. But obviously, we kind of talked around how the transition is going to be and how we could what I can do to kind of help and support that transition and get the mindset into coming away from that corporate element and kind of getting into that startup sort of mindset quite early. Because obviously in a startup you wear so many different hats, and you've got to be flexible, you've got to be agile, you've got to move and shift. You don't have that massive team support like you would do in a corporate. But and we kind of talked that through quite a bit, and I think it's fair to say that you kind of had a few moments where you were kind of like just struggling with it a bit, but I just said, look, just give me a call, let's talk it through, and let's keep the communication going. But to be honest, fair play to Olivia, it was very fast. So as soon as I think you said you woke up one morning and it was like a light bulb moment, and
penny
that's
drop.
it, switch straight away.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you've taken on as well, so there's now 4 of you in the team, is that right?
Yeah, there's 4 of us now. So again, the third hire was Josie. She was one of my recruiters as well at Kinetic. So again, I knew her. I knew her strengths. I knew where she can develop. But again, another hard-working recruiter who would kind of give everything. So it was I kind of strategically really kind of decided who I was going to get, and to be honest, we went through the interview process and we spoke to other recruiters as well, and it's quite. I found that quite challenging because when you're recruiting for somebody else, it's easy.
Yeah.
But when you're actually looking for it was like, oh please, I just want this to end.
Yeah, it's a common. I think a common issue founders have, right, is recruiting for your own business, not just like as a hiring manager within the agency as well. It's a completely different thing.
Going from 1 to 2 though, that's a big jump. It's it's not you anymore. Is it? You so many other hats that you're having to wear, but actually now you're responsible for somebody else as well as running a startup business. So big jump.
Yeah. And then so Josie came on, and then it was recently when you went with the next hire.
Yeah, so there was an opportunity that we had. So with Christina, so her background is out and out space.
Yeah.
She's worked with ESA. She's worked with STEC. She's been heavily ingrained into that environment. So it was really kind of a strategic hire to kind of. And she's worked for Serco, that's where she kind of came from. But just from her background, her sort of knowledge base and her connections, I saw it as an opportunity I wasn't planning to kind of go that way, but it was just too good an opportunity to kind of make a real dent in that market and take somebody so pivotal from their team. And I think we've had I think quite a few companies are looking at us and seeing what we're doing, especially the company that Christina came from. I think they're looking over their shoulder a little bit because we've kind of removed quite a strong person from their company.
That's a compliment, right? Being 6-7 months in to already having that from a competitor.
That must feel good for a startup business. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very good.
And she's even more remote, right?
Yes, so she's actually based in Europe, so she's in Macedonia. But so we're having to manage that. But again, we have our weekly chats. We're constantly chatting to each other. We kind of like with Olivia now, what we're trying to do is just change the dynamics of the team. So we've actually got Olivia going on a management course through the government. So it's one of the government funded courses. So we can upskill Olivia into a recruitment manager type position.
Right. Yeah.
Because I need to move away from that side of it and start to do the more operational, go out more and do, and kind of my view is to kind of bring on some more business into the company so we can kick on further. So the only element that was, and after speaking with Olivia on that, was kind of getting that management piece up so she can learn about conflict, how to manage a team, what needs to happen, kind of separate that business and personal aspect of management. And also when we bring on clients, they would go to manage, and I would bring them on, hand them over, and then she would then kick them on with the team. So that's kind of like the plan moving forward into next year.
Excellent.
Excited about that, Olivia?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely what I needed. I've had some great opportunities to bring myself on and do some of the leadership pieces, but I think to truly get the most out of yourself, it's having that more involved and structured course, I guess, to lead you through to the next part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And do you have where do you want to get to in the business then? What's kind of, is it something you've, obviously with the management course, is it something you've discussed about progression, where you guys want to get to with your role then, Olivia?
Yeah, I think definitely just developing myself and having the ability to help other people. That was always my objective in business. The management piece is something Matt and I did discuss early on, and again, that gave me confidence because I could see a clear succession there. Maybe a little bit of BD, that would be good to develop that side of things and meet with people eye to eye and go over their strategy and their vision. I quite enjoy that side of things, but definitely just to help build out the team and keep bringing on new business and managing that.
Yeah, we've got quite a few events coming up. So I'm going to Germany in a couple of weeks for the Space Tech Expo, and then I've actually invested into a stand with Paul's help at the Spacecom Expo in Glasgow in December.
Cool.
So we've actually got a stand. We're actually going to be there present. So that's quite a big move. So that'd be quite interesting. And then, as I said to Olivia, that'll an opportunity to be on the stand and then also go out and start speaking to some other clients as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's exciting about the kind of near future then with the events and the stand and stuff, and obviously still this is all still within your first year obviously in business. So looking ahead sort of year 2 and beyond, what does kind of the future hold for Hnosi there? Where do you want to, what milestones do you have?
So kind of the target that I've set the business is we've done, in terms of how we've done this year, it couldn't have been, didn't even imagine like where we would be. And so next year is kind of reinforcing what we've already done this year, but then doubling, tripling it, and kind of really making a mark into the market. Like next year, a lot of noise around, it's going to be even busier than 2025, a lot more opportunity. So what we're kind of doing now is kind of planning for that and kind of thinking, okay, where are we going to go? So like I mentioned, Asia is definitely a market where I see us having a strong presence. We've got some connections in Australia to leverage on. So that's definitely somewhere where I'd like to kind of start. There's a lot of exciting things happening over in Australia at the moment. So yeah, Australia is the target.
Okay.
To kind of really go is to kind of expand and do something there.
Yeah.
And then kind of then use that as a platform to go into Japan or South Korea and those countries really where the tech and the innovation is kind of really happening.
Yeah.
So that's where I see us next year, building on what we've already got, building on the frameworks that we've won this year as well in the defence market, kind of making an impact there and growing our contract piece.
Yeah.
And then really going out quite heavy on the sales side next year. Let the team work on what we've already got, and then going out next year and kind of just maximising more, bringing on more into the company. If we need to grow a bit more, then we can look at that. But I've got no plans at the moment to kind of add anybody else to the team.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, you never know. That might change. Wasn't planning on doing it so early this year, but yeah, we'll see where you are. But I just want to be careful, cautious.
Yeah.
I'm quite like that anyway, and always making sure that things are happening at the right time. But yeah, next year really push the new business and really start making an impact in those sort of countries. Really, is kind of where I see us going. Hopefully, doing some more with the UK mod as well with access to the frameworks that we have, and kind of just really building out that defence piece. Bring on some more space companies. We've got scope to go into aerospace as well on the website. So they're the main 3 areas that I kind of want to focus on. So see how things go next year, but I wouldn't mind maybe towards the end of next year, kind of looking at the aerospace side and kind of bringing that up as well, so we can offer sort of. We've got 3 sort of sectors that we're kind of focusing on.
I was going to say the sky's the limit, but that's quite a bad pun.
That's the reason we brought him along. And will the plan or like the main focus be around that kind of RPO model then? Is that going to kind of be kind of your value proposition then?
Yeah, because of the background of the team, we do come from that.
Yeah.
A lot of the team do come from that background, so we can effectively build on that. Obviously, we don't want to be targeting like large RPOs because we just won't be able to deliver.
Yeah.
But that's obviously where we can leverage on SSG to kind of support, which I am having conversations with Phil around.
Yeah.
So there are some big big RPOs that are due to kind of finish next year. So I have started to kind of make some contacts in there. But again, that will be something where SSG and Hnosi can maybe do something together on, because it'll just be too big. Be too big for us at the moment. But yeah, that's RPO is something I'm keen on. Getting some more retained business in. I've kind of steered away from working with companies that have a large PSL. Like we have had some conversation with companies that that have wanted us to work together, but I've just declined them.
What's the reason? Competition and rates mainly?
It's rates, because obviously you've got a rate that you kind of that you feel is right for the business, but obviously you've got some recruitment companies in there. I'm not sure that obviously have drilled down on that, and they're offering the rates have been so low it's not even worth going into. You're kind of devaluing your business, and that's why I want to set very firm in that this is our rates and this is our rates for a reason.
How hard is that as a founder to say no to business? Is it difficult?
To be honest, no.
That's a common one, isn't it? We come up against that all the time. So it's a recruitment issue, isn't it? That I suppose if you're getting desperate, you drop your prices. But it's a bit different for you. You said you were pretty busy from the start off, so it probably hasn't hit you so much like that. But definitely a common problem we see, isn't it?
Yeah, I think some recruitment companies, I think they're desperate to have something, to have another logo. Whereas I'm not going to do that. I've done it in the past where I've said no because it just doesn't work. And for me, the main sort of criteria is I look at, can I build a relationship with these people? Are the rates worth it for the work that's there? Are there going to be any problems if we agree something? Like, is there something wrong with their processes? Are we just going to be putting CVs in, getting nothing out, and no return? So it kind of has to work. And when I do have these conversations with people, I do drill down quite hard with them on the phone and kind of ask these open questions, because I want to know, like, is this going to waste my time, or is there actually going to be gain here? And I've had with Hnosi since we started, I've had a couple of conversations with clients where I've said to them, no, it doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
But if anything changes, we're here. You've got my details, so feel free to kind of reach out. Just leave that door open, because if something doesn't work and they realise they're working with agencies that just kind of are gathering, like I said, gathering logos and there's no delivery, then 9 times out of 10, that client may come back to you and want to have another conversation.
Anyone come back yet?
We've had one company recently that's come back to us, where I've said no to, and then the CEO came back and was like, can we actually have a conversation? So
it works.
Yeah, it does work.
Yeah.
You just just don't be afraid to turn down business.
Yeah, like trust your value,
Yeah.
right? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So reflecting on kind of where you've come from since the start of Hnosi, is there anything you would have done differently? You would change how you've done things since the start?
The only thing I probably would have wanted to improve on and done differently, and me and Paul have had conversations, is probably the marketing piece. And I think that's kind of where, because we've been so busy so early, that has taken a hit. And I probably, if I rewound it, put more emphasis on the marketing. Like, that's something that we're really conscious of at the moment, and Olivia's got a good marketing sort of background, so we are starting to do more and trying to get more out there.
So marketing, is that sort of like on LinkedIn?
Yeah,
and stuff?
LinkedIn.
Yeah, mainly.
Yeah, LinkedIn posts, drive more activity to the site. We have seen the site activity increase quite a lot recently. We're getting more visitors. The following is going up. The impressions are going up as well. So it is improving. It's just that's probably what has kind of took a back step at the beginning.
Because of the workload.
Because of the workload.
I think from the conversations we had early on as well, Matt, and we were going through sort of the marketing piece and what you could possibly be doing, and straight away we're like, I'm too busy to do marketing, which is like, yeah, well, that's fair enough, because if you've got the business coming in, then that's fine. You could, that's the sort of thing you can push back. But now you are maybe starting to see a bit more light, and you've got a bit more time. Then obviously there's a lot more you can be doing going forward. But I think you got it spot on. It's like, and I think another sort of common mistake maybe you see with a lot of recruiters who are like maybe too much into the detail and making sure their website looks, pretty and it's got this information, and they'll spend hours going through redoing it and all the rest of it. Actually, it's not so much about that. It's about getting your brand out there, being active on LinkedIn, and sometimes it's the small things, but it's about getting the priorities right, and like I said earlier as well, it's about those hats that you're wearing, and actually how much time have you really got to spend on lots of in-depth marketing that you're maybe not going to see the rewards for months down the line, when actually there's a lot more kind of pressing things at the start that you should be doing. So you said it's a problem. It wasn't so much a problem, but obviously you've probably got a bit more time now to start addressing those.
Yeah, totally. And that's something I want to do more of. I want to get us more out there, do some more marketing pieces. And now, like Paul said, we have got a bit more time. Obviously we're coming to the end of the year now, things will naturally slow. So I do want to invest more time on the marketing piece and get more out there. Like obviously recently Olivia did a spread on LinkedIn about all of us, and kind of gave a little bit of an overview, which was really well received. We got a lot of traction.
I gave it like.
Yeah.
Always appreciated.
Yeah.
Always appreciate the likes, right? Yeah.
But that is something we kind of really want to focus on, and obviously going to these events are going to help. The next couple of weeks will help. We have had a lot of traffic from the Spacecom side, because they obviously they promote as well. So we have seen a lot of activity and more people visiting the site, more people visiting the page. So that has increased. We just need to make sure that we're not just going to these events and then waiting for things to happen. We've got to make sure we go to the events, and then we then push the marketing from the back of it.
Yeah.
I think also that's your chance to showcase why people want to work with us as well. Just even things like deep industry knowledge, awareness of the challenges, and your approach to finding solutions that are tangible. But, you know, as much as that can be done in a conversation and part of that BD piece, that's where you can showcase that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's what sales is, isn't it? It's a solution to a problem. If
Yeah.
you can showcase that to a wider audience, that's basically what marketing is, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. Nail on the head.
So
Who needs me?
I should be doing it. Cool. Okay. And great stuff. And so coming to sort of the end now, from an advice perspective, obviously Matt from sort of setting up and Olivia from joining a startup, what advice, firstly, Matt, would you give any recruiters out there who are thinking about setting up on their own then?
I would just probably leave you on how I did it, and that's just making sure that you have everything aligned, because I've seen businesses where people have gone in half-hearted approach and then they fail. But main advice is I would make sure everything aligns, make sure you're in that best position you've got. People know who you are. You've worked in the industry long enough to then be able to pick up business quickly. But just kind of, just make sure that you're in the right headspace, because it is tough.
Yeah.
It's not just here you go on to company's house, get everything set up, and away you go. You got to think of, okay, where's the next money coming in? You've got bills to pay. You've got to make sure that you can sustain yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I was very conscious of when I did it is, okay, I want to make this happen. It's going to be a success. I'm not going to fail, and just make sure you're in that mentality. But yeah, just make sure that everything's right for you, and you go into it knowing exactly what you want to achieve, knowing exactly where you want to go with it, and 100%. I couldn't have done it without you guys. So I'm incredibly grateful for your support and guidance and advice that you've kind of given me. So yeah,
that's great to hear. But yeah, no, and honestly, it's a pleasure supporting you as well, like being in partnership with you. And you obviously touched upon being in the right headspace and having it's the one that I completely agree. It's the one thing you can't teach, right? Is motivation. You can always improve in recruitment. You can become a better entrepreneur, a better manager, develop better relationships. You can't teach motivations. If someone's, like you said, if someone's going in, I'll give it a go, likelihood is it's not going to work out right. You've got this do or die kind of attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to be very much, everything's got to work, you've got to be in the correct headspace, because you've got to deal with, you're going to get more highs than lows. You're on your own most of the time, so you haven't got that support network around you. Obviously, I know we spoke quite a lot early days, and with obviously Aaron as well. But you're effectively on your own trying to make this work. And if you're in that space where you kind of get deflated or things like that, then it's just not going to work. So you've got to be able to self-motivate every day, keep going, keep plugging away, because it will work.
You talked about support there, and obviously you've got investor backing, but also the biggest support is the people that are closer to you. You know, family, friends. You know, those people who believe in you and are there for you to get you through, because starting a business isn't easy. And you need those people around you to kind of give you that motivation and to realise why you do it in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah, and you've got to be able to have that flexibility, because it's not a 9 to 5. Well, recruitment isn't anyway, but especially when you're doing your own business, like you can end up working till 8, 9 o'clock at night because you have to do it. And to have flexibility around you, people that understand that, there's going to be the odd days where you're going to need to do an extra couple of hours because you have to do it. You've got to do it. Otherwise, there's other companies out there that can easily take the business away from you. And that's kind of what I did from early on, is invest that time straight off the bat and make sure that, it was a new venture for for me and the RPO that I took on. They're a startup themselves. So it was two startups kind of working together, supporting each other, and it's worked out really well because like we've scaled them incredibly. Like for 5 months, we kind of, I think we brought on about in excess of nearly 30 people in that space of time, which has then enabled them to grow.
Yeah.
They've now been able to get a new office because of the back of what we've achieved with them. And they're incredibly grateful to us for what we've done. But it's hard work, especially if you get a big client on from day one. You got to invest the time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's your marketing piece, by the way.
Yeah.
30 heads in 5 months.
Yeah.
There you go.
Made a note.
Writes
Down,
itself.
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Thanks, Matt. And I'm sure there are recruiters, obviously, who that will resonate with as well, who are potentially thinking about doing it, and others who have obviously gone and done it as well. I'm sure they have similar kind of thought processes as well. So I'm sure that resonates a lot. And then, Olivia, from your side, then, so obviously there are recruiters out there who might have rejected joining a startup because of the risks and stuff. But what would you say to anyone? You know, the benefits were, the great stuff about joining a startup then.
Yeah, I think it's such a unique position to put yourself in because you just have the opportunity to be involved in things that you would never get close to in a corporate. And don't get me wrong, I've had fantastic experiences with corporates, and there's been a lot of mentorship, and they've been very ethical organisations, and I went into it with this perception of stability. And I think the surprising thing that you do find, especially in recruitment, is the lack of stability, and that it is a perception. And coming into something with someone that you trust and have worked with before, obviously not everyone's going to have that situation, but I think what you can get out of yourself and where you can place yourself and get that experience from is way more worth it than the potential risks that may put you off. So I think just the advice I would give is be open-minded, don't be naive, be honest with yourself about what you think the challenges will be, but also this is your career and your development, and maybe just put the blinkers on a bit and see where you can get yourself. And as long as you're working with people and companies that you believe in, then you won't really go too far wrong.
Yeah, so before you guys go, one final question then. If you hadn't fallen into recruitment, what would you be doing?
Well, I actually was looking to go into the army.
Okay.
So that was like when I was kind of
I was
toying.
hoping you were going to say astronaut.
Yeah. It was. When I was obviously at the doing my customer service role. I went through the process.
Right.
And kind of got in, but I just think, again, with that type of environment, you have to be wanting to do it. And because I kind of wasn't, I saw it as an opportunity where I think it was more learning the skills and kind of being part of that sort of tight-knit unit. It was actually to go into the engineering side, so it was to learn and get into that engineering perspective. Yeah. But kind of like sitting down and kind of thinking about it, and I kind of decided actually it's not actually right. And then that's another industry you can't go into half-heartedly because you just get eaten alive in there. So I kind of decided that no, I'm not going to do that. I actually wanted to work in, what I really wanted to do was I wanted to work in London. I wanted to have that sort of work in the city, doing business, and kind of being part of something different and earning money really. The main motivation for me was seeing what other people were earning, and I wanted that. And I wanted to have a nice car, and I wanted to be able to not worry about things and kind of earning really well. And that's kind of what I did is, when my first role was a resourcer into IT, into investment banking. So being able to then go and say that I'm working with Barcap or Credit Suisse or JP Morgan and people like that, it was like that was kind of where I saw myself. That's where I wanted to be. And then actually ended up doing like TA on the side.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out quite well in the end, to be
Oh,
honest.
that's cool. That's cool. That's interesting.
And how about you, Olivia? What was your dream?
Yeah, I kind of nearly fulfilled my dream and went through the process similarly to Matt. So before I started in recruitment, I got a job at Dior and a bridal couture atelier in London, lived in Wimbledon. I felt like I was living the life. And then, I kind of got that all set up, and my housing fell through and I didn't have any money and the jobs didn't pay well. One of them would be working for free.
Yeah.
So I felt like I'd hit the benchmark of achieving everything I'd ever truly wanted, and then being ripped out of London. But it was actually the best thing that happened to me, and I had a gut feeling. And my mum said to me, just take some time to be upset that it hasn't worked out. And I was like, no, I have this feeling I'm going to network. And I did an Excel course because that's really employable, and thought about my core skills. And that led me to recruitment. And I really enjoyed the client that we worked with and the sovereign capability and the fact that you get to have such an impact on people and put them in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, quite a similar thing to Matt, really, where I got a bit derailed, but it was for the best.
It's a common story as well, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you have to go through the knocks to come out the other side, don't you? And actually find out what your purpose in life is. So,
Yeah.
Great to hear.
Paul, what about you? If you hadn't fallen into marketing, what would you be doing?
Well, architecture was kind of my thing, and then I got put off by sort of the long lead-in time and lots of debts and everything else. So I was always into sort of graphic design, and through graphic design kind of fell into marketing and then fell into recruitment marketing. So I had a few falls to get to this level.
Fair enough.
That's really
So-
cool.
Fair enough.
But now, as you brought me in, I'm going to have to ask you as well now.
Oh, well, as every boy growing up in the 90s, obviously I wanted to be a footballer,
Of course. Yeah.
regardless of not being good enough to be a footballer. I'm still adamant I would be.
I haven't seen you play football,
Oh,
so I'm not going to
I wasn't bad, but I was never going to be a professional. Never going to make a living from it. But then I didn't really have a goal, in all honesty. I studied French at uni. My mum's French, so I would have probably done something with that. I was living in France before I kind of went into recruitment, doing construction, which I really enjoyed, but kind of missed sort of family. So yeah, probably something with languages, which is now been taken over by AI. So I'd probably be redundant. yeah. But no, brilliant. No, thanks so much for
Thank
getting
you.
on, guys. It's great to kind of chat through both your journeys, really, and obviously the really early success of Hnosi, and we're so excited about where it's going to go as well. So hopefully, get you on in the future as well.
Yeah,
See what's
definitely.
what it's
thanks,
looking like.
thanks for being here. It's
No,
been
thank you
great
very
talking to you.
much.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Cheers.